Um, Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeremy J. Lee. I am Business Development Lead at SmartImpact. I'm joined this morning. I'm going to be joined by a couple of colleagues, but I have a feeling Steve Sidey isn't quite with us yet. If he is, I can't see him on the list. But Chris Lightley is a functional consultant. Do you want to just say hi, Chris? He's on hold for some reason. Okay, no worries. Let me jump into our presentation. So I'm going to say a few words about us, and then we're going to spend most of this session focused on software. So we've got a demo of our smart apps for unions and a few particular areas that we want to highlight to colleagues this afternoon about how Dynamics 365, which is Microsoft's CRM platform, can make your life easier when engaging with your members, reps, and other stakeholders. In terms of SmartImpact, we've been in business 18 years. We were founded in 2007. We're independently owned, which is something that we are extremely proud of, because as an organization focused entirely on our customers, our success is measured by how long people want to work with us. And we have an exclusive focus on membership organisations. So we work with trade unions, representative bodies, professional bodies, awarding bodies, and trade associations. And it's just a very, very narrow focus on that sector. In terms of what we do, we have 4 practices at SmartImpact. So the mainstay of our work and what we have been doing since 2007 is member management on Microsoft Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. Power Platform is the underlying data system that Microsoft Dynamics is built on. And this focus is really around engagement of members. So helping organizations to manage their members' data, manage their relationships, and get the most out of their communication campaigns, their renewal processes with their members. We also have a practice focused on Microsoft Azure and a specialist team within SmartImpact who focus on Microsoft Azure. The Microsoft Azure work we do is focused on high performance data architectures. So quite often Dynamics 365 itself isn't the most efficient place to do things like high volume processes and transactions, manage things like fast performing websites, or doing high volume reporting using visualization tools like Power BI. And so this practice enables us to get data out of Dynamics into an efficient architecture where we can do that kind of thing. We've also got a big practice focused on data-driven portals and websites. So this is self-service, enabling organizations to provide online benefits, online services, online engagement to their members. We use a couple of platforms to support that. Umbraco is a content management system, so that's where you actually hold the information that you're providing to members, and then we use .NET as the development framework. Data-driven is the operative word in that practice. So it's all about using data to get the most out of the experience people have when they're online with you. And we've got an emerging practice, and we'll focus a little bit on this afternoon, on using AI to do more with members. So all of these tools now have AI features that you can utilize to do more. And so we've got a real practice making that sort of making it easy for organizations to adopt AI tools. In terms of CRM, probably know this, but Dynamics 365 is a general CRM platform, so it's focused on customer engagement. We've extended Dynamics 365 into areas that Microsoft doesn't cover out of the box, and we have a suite of 21 apps that we deploy for our customers to run specific functionalities. And with our union clients using a variety of these tools, things like Smart DAS, Smart Events, Smart Membership, Smart Connector, we're able to provide the out-of-the-box functionality that you need to manage membership management. And in terms of working with unions, our sort of approach and our philosophy is guided by our understanding of a union's life cycle. So we know that you're out and about organising, recruiting members and activists and supporting people to be members and activists so that they're involved in your work and representing you in workplaces. You then need to engage with people so that they know about what you do and know how to either seek help from activists or get involved in campaigns. That enables you to deliver support, case management and grievances and inquiries. Again, sometimes you're handling these nationally, sometimes you're handling them within the workplace, but you need tools to support that. Having that information enables you to understand the issues that you are working with nationally and in policy, enables you to work with employers to negotiate, bargain, to undertake ballots, and then ultimately to create change. And this is a virtuous circle. And CRM helps every single stage of this process. We can help you with your recruitment processes by making it easier for you to get people signed up. We can help you with engagement. We can help you with managing cases in a safe and secure and compliant way. And then we can use the data that the system is capturing to help you represent and help you influence policy and change. And the specialist functionality that we deliver through our smart apps enables this. And we're very proud to be working with lots and lots of representative bodies and unions already in this way. Just want to talk a little bit about Microsoft, because obviously there's a big focus of what we're going to be showing you today is functionality in D365 and Power Platform. And we believe that Dynamics 365 is the best platform for unions to invest in when they are modernizing their data and digital estates. And there are a variety of reasons for these. Interoperability with other Microsoft tools, generally the tools that you'll be using on a day-to-day basis to manage workloads. So the fact that it just works with those tools provides lots and lots of shortcuts to things that can be quite technical outside of the ecosystem. It's built on Microsoft Azure, the cloud ecosystem from Microsoft. In particular, that gives you access to modern lifecycle tools. So the system just updates in the background, which means you always have access to the latest and greatest tools from Microsoft, as well as access to those sort of high volume data tools that I described. There's a load of low code and no code tools in the practice that are making it easier for staff members to do more with data. This is a major motion from Microsoft, and they are trying to empower organizations to be in control of their own business processes and in control of their own data without needing always to rely on an external supplier. But perhaps more than anything, Dynamics is a beautiful modern CRM system backed by billions of dollars of investment every year by Microsoft. That makes it up to date, makes it easy to use, makes it at the sort of leading edge in terms of these technologies. But in a way, I'm sort of expecting you all to be saying, well, of course you'd be saying that, Jeremy, because you are trying to sell a Dynamics 365 system. There's also a lot of evidence in the membership sector and beyond that D365 delivers the best ROI. Right. That's enough for slides. We're going to move over now and actually do some demoing in our software to give you a bit of an overview of what it looks like. We're going to start with a bit of an overview and talk about our smart apps for unions. And I just want to give you a flavour of what the system looks like and how you can use it on a day-to-day basis to manage your members' data. We're then going to focus on member engagement. We're going to do that through two vehicles: case management, so handling inquiries or grievances or other cases that have been raised by members, and then look at marketing and communications and how you will use tools in the platform to engage with members. And then finally, we want to just focus a little bit on a couple of AI tools that we hope you will find interesting. Again, sort of moving towards the sort of leading stroke bleeding edge of the platform around AI. So, Chris, can you confirm that this has switched over to my Dynamics environment?
That it has.
Perfect. Look, if anybody has any questions as we're going, I don't know what the format is, Jenny, because we've come in just at 12, but we're very happy to answer any questions as we go.
Yeah,
if
pop them in the Q&A, folks.
Helpful.
If there are questions for Jez and the team, you pop them in the Q&A, and then I'll field them across to you guys.
Perfect. And Chris, if you could keep an eye on that as well, that would be helpful as I'm going. So look, I'm in Dynamics 365 and I'm in an app which we've called Trade Union Demo App. So the whole point of this, and I'm going to show this in a bit more detail, but the whole point is that this provides a suite of tools to manage a union's data. We've landed on a dashboard. I'm going to come back to this to show you what a dashboard might be used for. But if I click on individuals here, I'm taken to a list of contacts in the system. This is quite important because these lists, these views, are quite often where you'll spend your time managing multiple contacts and managing multiple sets of data. A few things I want to point out here. Firstly, it's very, very easy to filter. I've actually got a little bit of a glitch here. I'm just going to refresh this. There we go. That's better. I was turning my my arrows into dots. Firstly, it's very easy to sort of play around with the real estate, change what you're looking at, make it easier to see things. So it's very, very flexible. And we've also got the ability on these column headers to do things like filter data. So if we want to just look at, for instance, our current members, we can do that quickly and easily from within the system. And it kind of works like Excel in that sort of respect. We've also got a nice natural language search up here. So if I type city is London, this does something very, very similar to the filter in that it goes off and it looks at the data and it makes an intelligent guess at what you're trying to do with it. So you can see here it has filtered just down to my my London contacts. We've also got a nice visualize button here. So obviously one of the things you're often looking for from your data is insights into what's going on within the union. And this visualize button makes it nice and quick and easy for you to get those insights. It goes and looks at the data, analyzes what's in the view, and comes up with a suggestion of what you might be looking at. So here it's suggested that I want to be looking at the member status by count of all contacts. So I can see I've got various people in different categories. I can also edit this. So if I want to change this to say membership grade, by membership class and membership status, I can do that. System goes and rewrites that. I can change the view. If I want to look at it as a pie chart, I can look at it as a pie chart. If I want to look at it as stacked columns, I can look at it as stacked columns. I can view it in big. Makes it easy for me to get this data out if I want to go and put it into a presentation. Nice and easy to use. There's also some native tool integrations with other Microsoft tools, which are nice. I'm not going to click it now because it takes a moment to load, but there's a visualize this view button which takes the data out to Power BI and makes some suggestions around how you might want to look at that data in a series of graphs. Or we've got the ability to take the data out of Dynamics into Excel. So if you want to edit lots of data in one go, or you need a list for an external system or something like that, it's quick and easy to get the data out of Dynamics into Microsoft Excel to support that. So that's the views, really important because that's probably one of the places that users will spend a lot of time managing data. I've clicked on Abby Blackton and I'm now in a record, and a record is an individual in the system. So Abby is my hero record. You'll be seeing her a fair amount. And what we're looking at here is all the different bits of data that we capture in the system about Abby. So we've got some name and address information. We've got some personal details. We've got a map. We're using a nice address lookup here, so you can quickly change the address that the contact is associated with if you need to, and using address lookup like this keeps your data nice and clean because you're always using up-to-date addresses. And on the right hand side here we've got some information pertinent to her membership. You can see the type of member that she is. Up here you can see when she joined and when her expiry date is, and we've got some branch information. You'll notice that the area I'm in here is called the union area, and this branch information is pretty central to how we organize records in the system. Let me start at the region level. So in this example, we've firstly got our regions, and in these regions you can see we've got various branches. If I go and look at this London and South East region, I can see the regional office, which is down here. I can see the number of branches. I can see some roles associated with this region. So I've got a couple of councillors and an area NEC member. And then I can see a list of all the branches that are part of this region. Again, some organisations use the terminology of districts, some use regions, some use nations, etc. But regions is that sort of top level. The next level down is branches. If I look at branches here, I can see all the different branches I've got in the system. If I order it by largest, I've got West Sussex Education. You'll recall that Abby was a member of this, and this has got some information about the branch that Abby is a member of. So we can see its name, its region, some roles within that, that branch. We can see all the members of that branch. There's 1,000 of them and where they work and their email address and phone number. We can see workplaces that are in that branch. So these are sort of account records in the system, workplaces that people work at. And then we've also got a tab for branch funding. Quite often we find unions are trying to calculate what their branch and central funding is from the members' records. This calculates the number of members, works out if they're political contributors, works out what the branch income is, therefore weekly and therefore annually. And then it splits it into various different categories. So that branch information enables us to put in place a structure for the union. Let me flick through these tabs. So obviously our Smart Membership app is managing membership. We can see Abby's membership history, the fact that she's a current member. We've also got a concept of membership actions, and in membership actions, this is where you manage what the next steps of a membership might be. So last year she renewed. Some point this year we'll get a new action for Renew 2026. That enables us to manage how the sort of steps of membership are administered in the system. We've got a finance tab where we've got some invoices, some things she's purchased, some membership fees, direct debit associated with Abby, finance information, and also some sort of status information. Perhaps as a member she gets a particular type of discount. We can assign those discounts to her at a kind of global record level. Our Smart DAS tool enables us to manage deduction at source. So if a member is paying by deduction at source, we can see their status, their authorization. We can see payments that we have received from that member, who the employer was, who the contact was, the fact that they were matched in the system. So taking care of things like DAS runs. We've got contact history for managing the engagement with the contact. So we've got a nice timeline, lovely little summary here, which shows us information about how we have been interacting with Abby recently. We've also got a summary on her record up here where we can just quickly see information about Abby and her membership in one place. We're capturing marketing information. We're capturing events information, things like our annual congress. We're capturing cases. I'm going to hand over to Chris to show you that in a bit more detail, but case management, obviously pretty central when you are dealing with inquiries, grievances, etc. from members. And then we can categorize members into sections and roles. I suppose what we're doing here fundamentally is we are capturing all the information that we need about a member so that we're able to segment, communicate with groups of members efficiently. I'm not going to wax lyrical about this, but we've also got the concept of managing organisations. So I can open up the school that Abby works at. Here we can see various bits of information about the school, its address, where it is, again a timeline, and then things like the contacts at the school, the workplaces, the members of the administration, etc. Let me just quickly scoot through this list. I'll be coming to you pretty soon, Chris, but let me show you sort of some of the core apps in the system. So Smart Membership is where we manage our membership. We can put in place a structure that's associated with class grades and packages, annual price lists. We can manage renewal processes. So generally these are in bulk at a particular time of year or on a monthly basis. You renew a large number of members. This is a workflow to support that. We've got information related to finance. We've then got a detailed finance area where you manage invoices, deduction at source, direct debits, perhaps integrations with finance packages, things like Sage or Business Central or Access Dimensions, and then the ability to categorize all of your payments so that you know precisely where any money transacted in the system will end up. Quite a lot of our clients are managing training, so courses, modules, maybe they have external providers that they're working with. So courses at the top level of this, these are the sort of different courses that an organization runs. Some of our clients organize CPD for their members. It's not something we always see in membership in unions, but some unions obviously do that. Managing ballots, quite important to most of our customers, and the interface with CRM obviously is about organizing the ballot segment, so the list of people that you are interacting with. It's a nice out of the box functionality that we've augmented to support that, called marketing lists. So you can set up two different types of lists: dynamic lists where the members update automatically based on the data that you're holding in the system, and static lists where you create a one-off snapshot of members, probably the best way to do it for most ballots, where you need to make sure that it's always the same people being interacted with. And that's how you set up that kind of list of contacts who you're going to out to ballot to. I've just got my West Sussex Education members. And then we've got a nice workflow for managing the ballot process. So using this business process flow at the top, you can take a staff member through the various steps that you need to undertake. This is pretty simple. We normally extend this so that it's got sort of much more granular detail in it. But ultimately, there are tools in the system that make it easy for you to do things like creating employer notifications. So I'm just going through a dialogue here to set up a document. What this does is it takes data from the ballot journey that we've set up and enables you to put that into a letter that you send to the school in this instance, or the local authority in this instance, saying that you're setting up a ballot process. Again, building blocks, of course, here rather than finished functionality. The whole point of a system like this is that you can configure it to an organization's precise requirements. We've got event management, so various aspects of events, bookings, delegates, speakers, etc., that the system manages for you. So our annual Congress, for instance, you can see various bits and pieces associated with it, where it's being held. You can set up agendas, you can do things like sessions, session tracks, speakers, sponsors, etc. And then finally, group functionality. So again, quite often what our clients are doing is putting people into various groups. You know, sometimes that's by branch or region, sometimes it's more specific groups that the organization is running. And if you want to see the group members, if you want to see the group types, if you want to see the group roles, all of that is made nice and simple in the system. So probably enough from me. I'm going to stop sharing, Chris, and come over to you to get into a little bit more detail.
Jeremy, there is actually a question in the Q&A.
Oh, right.
You might want to show it, might not. But is it possible to automate membership of a region based on completion of the workplace filed on the membership record? That's
I'm just going to open the Q&A so that I can read it. Is it possible to automate membership of a region based on complete? Yes, absolutely. So that's what it does, actually. So you I'll go back in. So effectively, if we go and look at, let me choose someone who probably doesn't have one. I'm going to Albert Price here. Oh no, he does. Okay, I'll change it anyway. It's probably the easiest thing to do. So at the moment, you can probably see that Albert, Miss Albert Price, probably Alberta, dummy data, is currently at this place of work, Oakfield Lane Primary School in Bedfordshire. I'm going to remove that and put her into the same school that Abby is a member of, and just save that. And what this does is it goes off and runs a process in the background to identify the employer, the branch, and the region that is associated with Warden Park School. It's just hanging a little bit here. This is the problem with live demos. There you go. So it's just updated. So it's moved Warden Park into a particular employer. West Sussex County Council, to put her in a particular branch. West Sussex Education, it's changed the region and branch secretary if that has changed. I don't think it did. I think Bedford's in the same region. But yes, so you use the data to organise the structure of the membership. I hope that answers the question. I've had a thumbs up, so I'm assuming so.
Cool. Thanks, Jeremy. Cool. I'm going to move over. So you can see my screen, Jeremy. It's all good?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Loud and clear, as it were, Chris.
Nice. So we're now in the customer service workspace. So if I just go up on the top left-hand side and just open up the different applications, Dynamics 365 gives us the ability to create a lot of different workplaces. And I'm going to be moving between customer insights, which is the marketing module, and the customer service workspace. But all of the different areas that we work in for where Jeremy was adding records, or where I'm going to work on for the marketing, it's all part of the same database. So all of those different applications are just different windows into the same data. And that's a really key point to bear in mind as we go through all of this. If there's no integration between the different modules that you see, as Jeremy updates the membership information on his side, I would automatically be able to access that information, whether it's through the case management or through marketing, the marketing module for audience creation. So I'm going to spend a couple of minutes in the customer service workspace. This is where we would be managing traditional cases. So these would be things like your general inquiries or health and safety complaints, etc. And we have a dashboard. Jeremy had a different dashboard on his side, which is more of a Power BI dashboard, which is a very interactive dashboard, pulling the data in very visual. These dashboards are using out-of-the-box and pre-built charts within the system. These are all customizable for the types of cases and types of reporting that you need. Down the left-hand side, we have a various piece of navigation. I'm going to be living mainly in cases and queues because that's where most of the information I need is for today. But if I let's go over to cases for a moment, I have, very much like Jeremy, I have a list of all the cases. I can see the priority, I can see the origin, I can see the people that they're associated with. So bearing in mind that these can come from different places, so these can automatically generate from emails that are received in an inquiries inbox. It can come through web form. It can come through a mobile app if you have that in place for your members. So all of those different cases are going to come from a lot of different places into one, hopefully one central location where you might have a wide team that has specializations in different areas. So some might be more for legal representation, some might be for workplace disputes, etc. And in order for us to ensure that a case is captured and given to the right person, we're going to want to use queues to facilitate that. So a queue is set up either to link to an inbox or looking for certain wording within emails. And we can have a whole bunch of different queues within the system. So if we look down over here, we can see we've got things like the health and safety complaints, legal support and representation. I'm going to select the member grievance and disciplinary case handling. And we can see that there's a couple of cases that are already sitting in the queue waiting to be picked up by one of the team, one of the staff. Now, I can go through these lists and I can select a case that I want to work with. I can route that onto somebody else. So if I know that somebody who specializes in sickness, absence might be a better person to work with this, I can allocate it directly to them. Or I can pick that case for myself. If I pick that case, I can choose to remove it from the queue so that it's no longer there. Or if we're kind of all jumping on cases and working on it together, I may choose to actually leave it in the queue until it's resolved. But that one, I'm going to remove it, so that's now out of the queue. So the next person who's in the member grievance queue won't have to see that when they come in. There are other ways of allocating cases like round robin. So just depending on who has the most active cases at the moment or who is currently on leave, all of those things can automatically delegate the cases to different individuals. But if I go back over to my active cases list, I'm going to pick one which is my misconduct allegation, and we're just going to work through this one for a couple of minutes. So a case record, very similar to what Jeremy pointed out earlier. The first thing I just want to point out is that right up at the top, we can actually choose different forms. So if you just take a mental screenshot of the form that's in front of you, If I change it, it changes the whole layout. So it's all very modular. And even the forms that Jeremy built, different individuals might need different data on the, or to experience different data. And this is all fully configurable to the way you want the system to look. But I'm just going to use it as is on our full case for now. Up in the top left, we can see that there's an SLA timer that's busy ticking down. So an SLA is a service level agreement. So whether you enforce this or not is really up to you. But I find it's very useful, even just for internal purposes, to know that we would like to either respond to a case or resolve a case within a set amount of time. Just keeps us honest, helps us for reporting. So I have a 2-hour SLA that's busy ticking down. And when it starts to become in danger of being breached, it can send out communication to my manager or other members of the team to alert me to that. We can also see that we have some activities, nice bright red, purposefully built today. It's not just my bad data. We have a task that's overdue from the past, and we also have a task that's upcoming. And we can see it's linked to Jeremy's Abigail's record. So this is the exact same record that he was working on a moment ago. I would then want to go through and try and resolve this case, writing down information, recording activities on the timeline, and anyone who has access to this record can then come in and see a full visibility of what's been happening, read the timeline, read the summary information as well. Down on the right-hand side, we have certain pieces of information that can help us to move through this process. So we can, first of all, bring up our customer details. So this is going to bring up Abby's record. So I can go through, I can read all the different activity information. I can bring down a summary of her information as well. I can see that she's a full member when she joined, etc. So all of this information, it doesn't need to be ring-fenced. It can be very easily shared with other members of the team. I'm going to hide that because it's taking up a bit of real estate, but I can move that and make it bigger and smaller if I wanted to. We also have the ability to have what's known as the Smart Assist, and the Smart Assist is going to try and have a look at some of the context of the case and try and guide us in resolving it. So first of all, it's going to look for similar cases, and it's also going to look for certain knowledge articles. So these would be pieces of documentation that we've written to guide our staff and our team in resolving cases that are quite similar to this. I can see it's come up with one, which is exam results complaints. Now, I don't think that's very relevant for me. This is all AI surface, so I can just say no, and that's going to start to train the system to be a little bit better at picking this kind of stuff up in future. But then as we go through this, we'd hope to be able to resolve the case. If I can't, or maybe it's not a case, maybe it was just sent in error, I can cancel that case. I can put it back into the queue if I didn't resolve it, but I'm going to go on leave. I can assign it to other individuals, but we can also go ahead and resolve that case. Some cases might require child cases, so perhaps there's a number of different issues, or perhaps a number of different people have raised the same issue and you want to group them together under a parent case. You'll have the ability to do that as well. But I'm going to go in and I'm going to resolve that case. It's telling me I have 2 open activities, and actually I'm going to pause that because I first want to send an email to Abigail just to let her know that I'm going to be closing this case. So if I go over to my timeline, I can click on email or on the plus sign to create a new email, and this is going to give me the ability to write out an email. Now we also have Copilot that can help us to write out and draft those emails for us. So I'm just going to describe what we need, and I'm going to say, please tell Abigail that I will be closing this case. And then I'm going to tell it to turn off the knowledge sources because I don't really need it to pull in other data sources for this one. And we can see that it's written a little email for me. I can translate that, so if Abigail is actually French or she prefers to engage in French, I can update that as well, which I'm going to do. And then we're just going to keep that record, and then we can save and send that one as well. So that's all good for us. I'm going to go in and resolve that. It will again tell me that I have a couple of activities that are still open. We're going to close that. Case resolved. And then we also have the ability to propose a new knowledge article for this. So knowledge articles are very important for us to be able to understand how to resolve future cases like this. So I can go in and I can click on resolve, create a new knowledge article if I want to. I don't have a lot of really good data on this case, so it's not going to work particularly well. But what it does is it goes in and uses Copilot to try and understand what happened on this case, and then write out a knowledge article for us that we can use in the future. I'm going to leave it there on the case side. I'm going to move over to the marketing module. I'm just a bit pressed for time. So that's it for case resolution. If I go over to customer insights, this is the Microsoft Dynamics, used to be called the marketing module, now it's called customer insights. And this is all about engaging with our members and sending out communication. So these can be things like membership onboarding journeys, it can be things like newsletters, and it can even be transactional things like invoices or event registration information. So we're going to go through a very quick use case, and that is going to be sending out a 4-part welcome journey. So when somebody becomes a new member, we want to send them 4 emails over the space of a month with a week break in between. And to do that, we're going to be building emails, we're going to be building audiences, and we're going to be building a journey to send that. And we're going to do all of that in less than 5 minutes, hopefully. So to begin with, we have our 4 emails that I've conveniently prepped ahead of time, but they are very ugly, if I may say so myself. There's not a lot of information in there, and I kind of left that purposeful. So we're just going to work on this email very quickly just to bring it to life and just add a little bit of color and make it look quite nice. So the first thing we want to do, this is going to be coming from the SmartImpact Union, and I need this to be more in line with my brand colors. So what I can do under the theme, we can see that it's picked out this weird color palette, which is kind of one of the default ones, but it gives us the ability to load a theme from a website. So if I go in and I borrow our SmartImpact website, I can go in and fetch the styles that are associated with that website. It should hopefully come back and pull out the various colors and the different fonts and things like that. So I'm going to keep that one because that's good for me. And I'm just going to highlight this or change the font to one of my new theme colors just to add a little bit of yellow to that. I also want to add a button so that people can join my portal. So we'll just put that over there, and we can link this button to various different things. So if we're doing event registrations, we could send them an iCalendar link or a QR code and things like that. We can do surveys from some of the out-the-box tools, but I'm just going to stick with the URL, which will go to my portal. Again, I'm going to change the color, and I'm just going to leave it like that for a second. The actual content of the email is quite bland. It's only a paragraph or 2, so I think we could probably do a little bit better than that. So if we go over to content ideas on the right-hand side, we have the ability to use Copilot to try and build out some of that content for us. So what we can see, what it's done is it's pulled out some of the key topics or the key points that are associated with this. And I can then choose the tone of voice that I want to use, and then I can say get ideas. I can also do it the other way. When there's no content, you can give it the keywords and just let it produce all of that stuff itself. And we can see that it's pulled in a lot of different pieces or a big piece of content for us. So I'm going to leave it out for now because I don't want to go in and have to update all the company information. But the one thing I will do is I'm just going to add a little bit of personalization to say, hey, and I want to say the first name. Now, this is quite useful, again, because it's not an integration and it's using the same data. I have the ability to very easily pull in fields from things like the contact record or even other records. So we can say, hey, and we'll then pull in the full name. I'm going to save that from an email point of view. And I'm going to move over to my segments. Segments are our ability to build out audiences. So all of that data that Jeremy was painstakingly putting together around Abigail, everything I was doing around the case, we can put all of that into one central segment to build out our database. And really what this does is if I just go in and create a new segment, we do have the ability to use natural language processing, very much like Jeremy was saying, so to find everyone based in London as an example, using the query assist. But I'm going to leave that. I'm going to go from blank. And basically all of those different tables and records that we had that's linked to the contact, we can very easily pull that data into our query. So if I go and I just type in members for now, it can look for all of the different fields of information that's associated to the contact record as an example. So I want to put in the membership join date, And then I also want to pull in something around the branch. So let's go and look for an individual branch, and we're going to add it to that one. Cool. So if I want to find a certain branch, I'm just going to go with A1 Healthcare. So we can find all of our members who joined, let's say today, and that they are part of this particular branch. So very, very quickly, I can pull that information together. This is also going to be a dynamic segment, so it's automatically going to pull all of that data as people meet those requirements. So if I join today, it's going to add me in. Tomorrow, it will take me out because I'm no longer a part of that segment because I didn't join today. So that's really useful. It's very, very powerful. There's a lot more you can do around things like behavioral groups. So if you want to find people who haven't opened an email in the last week, or people who have who have attended an event or clicked on a link, all of those kinds of things you can do quite nicely. The last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go and actually pull this all together. I'm not going to save that, but I'll pull in our emails, I'll pull in our segment, and we're going to build out a journey. The journey is our automation process. So we have the ability, again, to describe the journey we want, and it's actually pretty good at that. So if I ask it to send out a welcome campaign, it'll try and build it for me. But I'm going to skip and I'm going to create it from blank, just because it's interesting to see how these things are built. I'm going to grab a balloting list, and I'm going to pick a start date for this. Go ahead and create that. So this is now our audience, which is the balloting list, and I want to send an email. So that's a very basic campaign. If I had to fire this one off, it would then send this email immediately. But if we stick to our use case of we want to send an email once a week for a month, I can then very easily put in a wait time. What are we waiting for? A set amount of time, which is going to be 1 week, and then we're going to send another email out as well. And so we can build this out quite comprehensively, and this is all automated. So once we set it to live, it's just going to start sending out those emails. But there are a lot of other things we can do. So we can start building our triggers based on an email. So we can say things like, did they open that email? So maybe this is the very first welcome email. We want them to get their portal information. We can say, did they open that email? If yes, we will just carry on with the rest of the journey. But if no, we're going to then send them another follow-up reminder email. So it's very, very powerful, very, very automated. It's kind of a set it and forget it kind of thing. I'm very pressed for time, so I'm just going to take a couple of minutes just to talk about some AI tools that we have in the background as well. So one of the key pieces of AI functionality we've seen is Copilot. So it's the ability to really surface data and use data within Dynamics 365. But outside of Dynamics, we have Copilot Studio as one of many automated or AI tools. And these are what's known as agents. So these are chat assistants, chat bots that we can use to surface data, but it's also we can use it to actually go out and perform actions on our behalf. We can see there's quite a few agents that come out the box, but I'm going to take 2 minutes to explain 2 different use cases for these assistants. So the first assistant that I built for today is a search assistant. So this is just going to go through the TUC's website. So if you've ever gone through it, you'd probably be aware that there's a lot of different news articles, a lot of different opinions that are being shared through the TUC website. And what I can do is I can give it a prompt and I can explain what somebody's going to try and do on the website. So this would be an assistant that sits on your website and guides people in being able to find the information on the TUC website. I've then built I've then added this onto a certain onto one of our channels. So you can see that I've put it on a demo website, but there's lots of different channels that you can put this in within Teams, etc. And because it's going to live on our website, it's going to guide users in or visitors to the website into find things like what is the TUC opinion on 0 hours contracts. Now, that might be something that I would have to go in and spend quite a lot of time browsing through the website to try and find that information. But we can see that this is going to pull out that information, going to give us a bit of an overview, so strong opinions on it, etc., etc. And then I can ask follow-up questions. So things like they advocate for better protection. So what kind of advocating have they done in the past and things like that. So it's very interactive. And because we are able to use knowledge articles, we would also be able to add Dataverse, so Dynamics 365 data as a knowledge source, which means that if somebody was a signed-in member, let's say through your portal, we would know who they are and we could perform actions on their behalf. So we could advise them, would you like to complete the CPD activity, or would you like us to enroll you in this event? And if they respond yes, the agent could then go out and actually build those for you. And those are going to be using actions. So these actions are kind of automated processes. And if I just type in Dataverse, which again is the underlying architecture of Dynamics, we can see that it can do a whole bunch of things on our behalf, and we don't actually even need to tell it when to do it. It would just simply know this is somebody who said yes, they want us to enroll. So it's going to go out, fetch the event data from the website, fetch their membership data, apply any discounts and things, and then perform that action. Jeremy, I'm going to leave it there and hand back over to you, but I hope that was helpful to everyone. And yeah, Jeremy, you can take it away. You're on mute, Jeremy.
The peril of Teams. Everybody, thank you very, very much. I hope that was helpful. I mean, I'm very, very conscious that what we've really done this afternoon is kind of tease a whole load of different functionality that probably requires a lot more granular and in-depth investigation from you guys. If you would like more insights into our smart apps, how we work with unions, into SmartImpact, or a more tailored demo, you know, a bit more deeper dive into some of those areas in detail, please get in touch with us and we will be very, very happy to organise that.